Hey guys, what's up? My name's Brandon Lee. Just sitting here in my new 2017 Honda Civic Type R. Figured I'd take a quick moment just to do a short review on my thoughts so far of the overall performance. Some of the common things out there being asked, how's drivability, daily use, cosmetics, aesthetically, thoughts overall. So there's some really good reviews out there right now. There's a guy I follow named Elias, really cool dude back in, I think, Virginia. He's got a channel, goes by Flying Gato, Flyingato. Super cool, been chatting it up a little bit, getting some insight from him on just different things he's doing. Got tons of reviews on the transmission issues that are being experienced. Fortunately, in my Civic Type R so far, I'm not experiencing any lockouts, transmission issues overall, so I'm super happy there. This car's really just been incredible. I mean, it's really, for a Honda Civic, back in high school, things like that, these are the cars that you wanted to get into, more specifically the Type R, which we all know we've never seen here in the US. So to have a completely transformed car coming off of the FK2 platform over in Europe, this car is just really worked out all the kinks. You've got different things now, so for instance, if you take a look, you have your comfort setting mode here, and then the default, obviously, which is going to be the sport mode when you start the car up. And then you've got the plus R mode, where you stiffen up your dampening and suspension and things like that. You can see everything serial numbered. Mine happens to be R03121. My car is a crystal black. From my understanding, there are only 3,500 crystal black cars for the Type R that have been released to the States. I don't know if that number's true. Correct me if I'm wrong out there. That's just a rumor I heard. And overall, there being around 6,000 that were sent to the US for the Type R consumer. Aside from that, you can see the Alcantara red suede leather for the Type R seating. Obviously, you've got the trim lines, the carbon fiber look. Just so you guys know, which you probably do already, this is like what I would call faux fiber, right? So it's not real carbon fiber. Nothing is on the Civic Type R. You're going to be paying a lot more to get those sort of features in a much higher performance super type car, so, but I mean, it really looks nice. So one of my complaints, I don't know if I'd call it a complaint. I mean, I love the interior, obviously very comfortable, super huge bolsters on the seats. But the red looks super cool. The red for the Type R and the seat belts and everything like that. I love it. But one of my complaints would probably be, I really would have thought that the Type R red wouldn't be such a maroon color like on the steering wheel wrap here. I would like it to be, I guess, a brighter red, but that's just personal preference. But overall, hey, this car's awesome. It's got some features, your Honda Type R badging, things like that. It's just all over the place. You just know that you're in a different car. This car is just a different animal overall, right? So performance-wise, 306 horsepower is the stats that are out, 295 foot-pounds of torque, the new TurboSmart technology delivered by Honda on the new Type R motor. Hearing a lot of rumors that you're going to be able to get the Type R motor, so we're probably going to see it in a lot of stuff coming out, although it is said that it's only going to be available for certain types of consumers that basically have access to a shop or race capability. Anyways, there's some specifics on it. You can look into that. I'm sure there's a lot of content out there. Let's focus and talk for the Type R about exhaust. So probably one of my biggest, when we get into cons on this video, one of my biggest cons for the Type R, of course, I'm very spoiled. Formerly coming off of other platforms like the 03 Subaru WRX. That was one of my first tuner cars. First car actually was a 2001 Volkswagen Jetta 1.8 turbo. I don't know if I'd call that, in the realm of, but so the WRX, And then I upgraded from there into an '05 STI, Subaru STI. Both awesome cars. Love those cars. I know the big rant and rave right now about the Type R is just people don't know if they can hack the front wheel drive. Let me tell you, the front wheel drive coming off of an all-wheel drive, platform like the STI, there is a difference there. I mean, it just has to be said. I mean, it's a different type of performance. Now, obviously, you've got the weight issues that you've got to kind of surmount and deal with. When you have more parts, higher cost, I'm sure cost and things like that. I don't know what it's going to cost to replace things on the Honda, but sort of my overall, I want to talk about why I went into the Civic Type R versus, spending around $40,000 to get into a new STI or something of that nature. Maybe an older Evo, since they're not circulating those anymore, or something like that. I could have gotten into a BMW, or I hear it all the time, like, for the amount of money you paid for the car, like, there's just so many things that you could get into. By the way, just so you know, I bought this car private party. I got an awesome deal on the car. If you look around, there's people selling them out there, so that's maybe another route to go if you don't feel comfortable doing that. I understand it. I took the risk and jumped into it. I'm super happy that I did. I bought this car with originally 147.5 miles on it. I am the second owner of the car, but it was virtually a brand new car with all of the Honda warranties carried over. I think it's a 3-year, 36,000 mile bumper to bumper warranty with a 5-year, 60,000 mile powertrain. So I didn't, get any like extended warranties or anything. And that kind of leads me into what I was going to go into here. So why the Civic Type R for me? Well, for me, I've owned an STI. I've owned a WRX. And in the 2017, I just kind of weighed it all out. And Honda obviously has a name for themselves. Both are Japanese cars, or in Europe. So Type R hasn't been here before. Another big win for me is this is a boosted car, stock from the factory. I love turbocharged vehicles. I love naturally aspirated vehicles as well. I've never really experienced supercharged vehicles that much with the constant power. I like the feel of a turbocharged vehicle. So that was a win for me. This car having all of the updated technology inside of it, being a brand new platform for Honda, also the sustainability of the brand. Honda is a well-known brand that's gonna be around hopefully for a long time to come. The Type R, I didn't know what it's going to look like. Nobody really does yet. How many are they going to make? When will they stop making them? Is this going to be like the Toyota Supra, your $98, $99 Supras still, which are, $20,000, $30,000, and they're still going for that in original, awesome, perfect condition. So, and even if not, you find these rare cars out there. So I don't know what it's going to be like. Obviously, nobody does, I think, for the Type R. I'm sure the people on the inside that build these things at Honda have some insight. But the average consumer, we just don't know exactly what's going to come out. So, aside from that, the mechanics of a Honda, the parts availability, they're cheaper cars overall. I mean, my Subaru, you do have the Brembo brakes on this. You've got upgraded parts. So I'm sure they're going to be expensive, and somebody's going to correct me on that and be like, dude, if you're thinking about it for parts, you're out of your mind. I mean, this car's got the Continental summer tires on it. I haven't looked it up yet, but I've heard that they're not that cheap to replace, which, yeah, it sucks. But come on, like, you're buying a Civic Type R. I bought this car knowing that I wasn't buying it for gas mileage. I wasn't buying it for, I bought this car to have fun, to enjoy the car, to have a 4-door hatchback. Awesome. I've always wanted a hatchback. I've never owned a hatchback before. And I really like the old school body styles, the 94 hatchback Civics. Back high school, I graduated in 2003. So you can imagine, back in those times, those are the cars that obviously everyone wanted. Now, this is a Honda Civic. It's not an STI or some of the other cars we've talked about, but I really like the car. I just do. Everyone has their preference. I know there's a lot of commentary that I'm hearing out there about the overall appearance of the Type R, and some people don't like it. I love it. I really think it's cool. I think they've actually kind of thought a lot about what went into the car, and also not only the aesthetics and the cosmetics of the vehicle, knowing that everything is said to be functional. Now, I know you've got your plastic covers in certain areas of the car, which I can do a walk around of the car later, that aren't functional. I talked about how the carbon fiber trim for the side skirts, the lip kit, the diffusers, all the different little cosmetic things, but you know, I'm kind of happy about that. I mean, I do want to do some carbon fiber upgrades. I mean, Honda obviously started out, gave you most everything you need to make this car functional, a track car, a daily driver, with the different modes we just talked about. You really do notice a difference. I mean, in comfort mode, this car just kind of kicks back and chills, and it's a comfortable car. It could be a daily driver. I mean, I don't know if I'd do a long road trip. I mean, I saw a guy that did one, but this isn't going to be my daily driver. I want to keep the miles low. I bought a small, cheap Honda Civic LX, a 2002, for my daily driver, just to get back and forth to work, because I want to keep the miles low. I mean, overall, keeping miles down on a vehicle sustains the life of the car, sustains everything about it, and resale value. I mean, someday if I do sell the car, not that I think I'm going to tomorrow, but projectively, I want to have a car that is you know, in original condition, and is kind of from the first generation release of the Type R's into the US. So that was a thing that, these were all things that were just playing out in my mind. I mean, you get a very unique car, you get a badged car, a serial numbered car that's not like everything else out there on the road. I mean, everyone has an STI, everyone has a WRX, everyone has a regular Honda, you know, or a BMW. I see them everywhere. What I love about my car is I'm driving down the road and people are checking out my car, and for the price I paid, for this price point, there's nothing else like it on the road. I mean, not everyone has a Type R. And so just little things I thought were really cool. Performance-wise, this car is awesome. It performs just, it's insane how this car handles. I mean, I don't really want to talk about, you know, exactly every little thing I've experienced yet. I've never tracked a car before, so you know, I would like to get into that and learn more about it, and there's more to come. I mean, I've been a driver, I drive and things like that like any normal person. Grew up driving stick shift vehicles. This is obviously a 6-speed manual transmission with their technology. Now, transmission wise, let's talk about that. There's some issues out there with the transmission on the Type R that I'm hearing about. Flying Gato that I told you about, Elias, he's really cool. He talks about that in some of his videos. He has a championship white 2017 Civic Type R, and he's been experiencing some issues with his car, and had it recently looked at by a couple guys named Joe that are high ups with Honda, some techs that came out to check his car out in his local area. I think he did a transmission fluid flush and things like that, just to try to see if those sort of things were going to help out. But basically, you know, this car, I haven't had any issues so far with that, like I said. So I'm really happy about that and thankful. I hope that I don't, and that the car, longevity-wise, mechanically, overall lasts. So there's going to be more to come. Here to pick up the little one from school, so I'll get back on and do another review. But appreciate you guys all watching. If you have any specific questions, just let me know. I was going to leave you with, you know, the exhaust on this car. It needs to go. I really do want to get an upgraded exhaust on it, because I'm in a performance car. I want to hear the exhaust. You know, I want to know what I'm in. It does have a really mild and nice tone to it, but you know, I came off of boxer engines, and you can't really compete with that sound. I mean, it's just an awesome sound for the WRX and the STI. So I know I might get a lot of hate jumping into the Civic platform from these other guys out there, but much love, man. It's not about that. I mean, to each his own, whatever you like. It's all preference out there and personal preference. I'm not this Civic, you know, consumer that's going to be, oh, Civic power, you know, and if you don't own a Civic, like, you don't know what you have. And like, I mean, the fact is, I mean, nobody can deny that there are hatchback Civics out there that are throwing down and competing with supercars out there. You know, I mean, just look it up on YouTube. I mean, it's crazy what you can do with a Honda motor. But it's also crazy what you can do with a lot of different motors out there with the right technology and the right parts. And that's another thing that I'll talk more about later on. I mean, for me, everything I do on this car, I want to do it right. If I do some bolt-ons, if I do, you know, because I do want to do some things, but you know, you want to keep this car as original as I possibly can. So anyways, guys, I appreciate you watching. If you have any specifics, like I said, question wise about the Type R, owning it, what it's like, daily use, all that stuff, more to come. Appreciate you, and have a wonderful day. Thanks again. Take care.